All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are so glad that you all are here. Welcome back to your Elegance Boot Camp. This is your 30-day, 30 plus minute series that Lucy and I are putting together for you. I am Maggie. You all may know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher from my cooking channel. I am all about food and femininity. I love helping feminine women attract and keep the masculine man of their dreams. Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. So if you need to begin your journey with etiquette, elegance, and femininity, we have private coaching and private classes. I also do one-on-one, but we love giving back, and this is part of our giving back. So we are going to pick up where we left off, but before I forget, before I begin, Lucy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, Chad. Hi, Lady Navoa. Hi, Killies. Is it Killies or Kylie's? Killies, right?
Gillis.
Killis.
Mhm.
Killis. Um, I'm Lucy. I have a channel, a small channel about it's going on to almost 1,610, I think. But again, it's just mostly Spanish speaking for basic and maybe advanced a little bit. And then sometimes I put in some cultural, what's happening in society, specifically related to femininity, elegance, etiquette, and so forth. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Hello, Lady Navoa. Lady Navoa already has a question. She says, ladies, where did y'all get the music from? Sounds like a commercial or something. You all know him and love him. He doesn't really come around this stream, but if you ever see 10 plus sounds, he is our editor. He is the one who is responsible for all of this fantastic branding because y'all have told me I cannot draw, but the artwork that you see that looks so professional, the Q&As, the finishing school, the hosting class, the movement class, the elegance class, he provided that music. So it is called, goodness, Happy Jazzy Loop. So that came from 10 plus sounds. So wanted to give you all something a little bouncy and bright. Hello, Tara. All right, so what are we doing here? I'm so glad that you asked. So we are on a series called Your Elegance Bootcamp. So there's another content creator. Her name is Vivienne. She has a channel called Woman of Elegance. She is on all socials. I highly suggest you all follow her. She's out of the UK. And I'm a proud fan of hers. You all know I love studying this stuff. And so I actually bought her book, and it is the 30-day guide to your ultimate elegance guide. So the concept is, if you start incorporating these things, ladies, one per day into your everyday, by the end of 30 days you'll be well on your way to being elegant. And we're only on day 9, and I think it's a lot, but I'd love to know how you all are enjoying it so far. So this book is available to all of you all. It is a digital download. The link is in the description. You can get 20% off with the discount code ELEGANCE20. However, for our finishing school students, current and future, Brandon L. Jett has made this book available to all of our students for free. So we are very, very grateful. All right, so I'm going to show you guys what we've done up to this point, little summary, and then we will get into day 9. Okay, so let's see, where are we? All right. So this book is broken up in multiple sections, and you have seen, if you all have been with us from the beginning, you saw that we started off talking about your attire. So on day 1, we talked about that capsule wardrobe and creating your signature style. Then we moved into your closet, ladies. I am guilty of this too, but we've got to get our closet or our wardrobe organized so that we know what we have fits us well and represents us well. We also talked about your shoe game and the accessories that you wear that can bring any outfit to life. On day 4, something a lot of you all are interested in, your makeup and your hairstyles, what flatters you and what you can keep up. Day 5 was a big one of my favorites. We talked about grooming, making sure you look and smell good every day, ladies, every day, not on occasion. Okay, that's unacceptable. On day 6, we had the working on your posture. This was also one of my favorites. Sarah Badenova, one of our guest speakers from the finishing school, came and talked to us about elegant movement. Then we moved into this section we're in now about conversation. And I love that Vivienne is breaking this down with all of the components, what goes into being an elegant woman. It's not just the outside, it's what's inside comes out as well. So on day 7, we talked about listening, ladies, not just listening to respond, but really listening to that other person. Day 8, this was a big one for me yesterday, making sure you take the time to actually think and put your thoughts together before you just open your mouth. Which brings us to day 9. Today we are going to talk about speaking articulately and what that means and how you can do it. I love her manicure here. All right, so I will move on to the book, but Lucy, any thoughts so far before we pick up into day 9?
Yes, and yesterday I forgot to mention that acronym for think. It's if you're talking about something, you is when if you're going to talk about someone or you're going to hear something about someone, you got to think: is it true? The T for true. Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? So that acronym in think, when you're going to speak or you're going to be listening to someone, those words are they're going to meet that think acronym. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind?
I love that, ladies. One of the things that we tell our students, and one of the things that I've learned in my studies, elegance is not rushed. And not only for the movement, for those of us who walk really fast and talk really fast and move through or used to move through like a bull in a china shop, it's really going to be about even slowing down in your communication and the way you express yourself, and what Lucy just said about thinking, really putting thought into what you're about to say. And I love that. Is it kind? Because being elegant and having good etiquette is really about consideration of others. You never want to do anything that's going to make other people feel uncomfortable. All right. Erin Laura says, I like that. Yes. How's everybody doing? So if you're interested in the finishing school, if you like, this is a little sample of what you get in our private coaching. Our next class starts in January. Registration is open. You can go to the link in the description or teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. It is an 8-week privately taught online finishing school, Saturday school taught by me and Lucy live, and we would love to have you. All right, so now we are going to go into Vivienne's book. So I'll show you all what she has here. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so let us pick up where we left off. So this is Vivienne's book, again, available for everyone. Is your ultimate elegance guide, ladies. Highly recommended. And again, you do have a discount code. For our students, this is already in your dashboard, but we're glad that you're here. We see you in the chat. All right, so you'll see here that this is Vivienne's book on becoming elegant in 30 days. And this is corresponding with the sections we already told you all. We have moved all the way up to section 9. So we are going to talk about speaking articulately. And I do have my phone over here. I'm just going to look up really quickly and define what articulate means. And then we're going to go through it line by line. Lucy and I will share from our experience and then take you all's thoughts as well. So this is from the dictionary, the Oxford Language Dictionary, and the word articulate is an adjective, which means having or showing the ability to speak fluently and coherently. All right, ladies, so what does that mean? Fluently, that just means that you're able to get your thoughts out kind of, in a flow. You're not all over the place. It makes sense. And then coherently just means you're actually landing the plane on what you're thinking actually comes out of your mouth the way that you intended, and it makes sense to the other person. Communication is a huge part of your elegance journey. And the good news is it is a skill that you can work on. So if it's a struggle for you for whatever reason, we're going to talk about some ways that you can improve it, because if you look the part, if you dress the nines from head to toe, but you have a potty mouth or you don't really communicate well, it really takes away from your elegance. So we want to help you with that. Okay, what does Vivienne say? She says, speak articulately, merge your flow of words with your thoughts. I love that. Think as you talk. Think of what to say and communicate your thoughts across. This makes your words flow seamlessly and your ideas articulated. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here, and I will just say here what she says: merge the flow of your words with your thoughts. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and we know that there are filler words that we use, there are slang words that we use. Hopefully, there aren't swear words that you use. That's actually quite masculine. And one thing I'll say, ladies, when you swear or use a lot of slang, of course, there are times that you express yourself, but it actually makes you look less sophisticated because your choice of words is so base. It appears that that's the only way that you know how to express yourself. So take it as you may. Some of you are around that. And I know, unfortunately, today it's quite common to hear people dropping bombs left and right, but it's not elegant. And as an elegant woman, you should expect to stand out. You should expect to be a little different than. Not that you're, think you're better than anyone, but you shouldn't just be like everyone else. I love what she says about slow down and merge your thoughts, which means that you need to be thoughtful, take time to think about what you want to say. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and it's okay to say, you know what, let me get my thoughts together before I respond, or let me think about that, and make sure what you mean to say is what you actually say. If you've got your point across, you can stop. A little bit of silence is okay. What would you say, Lucy?
So true, that little bit of silence. And you can say, that's a good question. I'm not sure how I feel about that concept. I've even said sometimes, I said, you know what, I'm a little ignorant when it comes to that topic. So I will be doing some research and then I can respond to you later on. Maybe at a later discussion, we can have it. And you can also use that to get out of just uncomfortable conversations where you really don't want to share. There are folks out there that ask really direct personal questions when they don't know you. So those are things that you take your time, you pause, and then say, I'm not really sure how to respond to that question. I don't know what the intention is with asking that question. Let me get back to you later on. But you can always say that you either don't know how to answer it, you're not sure how to answer it, but you are giving some type of answer that says, I'm not sure. And that's okay.
It's absolutely okay. And ladies, you don't ever have to answer someone who's asking an intrusive question. If you all remember me yesterday, I had my flashback moment about the rude treatment at the airport, but that was about not giving any answer. So we don't want to swing to the extreme of ignoring people and just being deaf, dumb, and mute, like I call it. But if someone asks you a question, you can absolutely say, oh, that's a little bit personal. I'd rather not say. There's nothing wrong with that. It actually shows that you do have boundaries, and it lets the other person know, okay, maybe I've kind of crossed the line here. You can absolutely disagree without being disagreeable. You can have your boundaries. You can share what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. This subject really is about when you do speak, is it clear? Is it concise, especially when you're speaking with men? We talked about that, especially masculine men are men of few words, so they're not going to go on and on and on like we like to. And it's something that you can practice. Ladies, we talked about this before. You can record yourself or have a friend record you and watch back. Or if it just creeps you out, because I know some people, I hate the sound of my voice, or I hate the way I look on camera, ask, a friend to say, Am I easy to understand? How would you classify my speech? And a big part of it, ladies, is just slowing down. Like I've had to learn, elegance is not rushed. And a lot of the issues that we have with being like rude or poor etiquette or dining or whatever, if we really just slow down, then we'll have time to make sure what we execute comes out with grace and with class. So yeah, I did see something here from Lisa, and I just wanted some clarity on this one. Lisa says, really nice for us ladies in the South to remember. Lisa, if you could give some more clarity on that. I've already forgotten what I said, but I will say this while you're typing, if you don't mind. Ladies, wherever you live, there are colloquialisms, right? There are sayings that are unique to each region. Lucia shared, with being English as her second language, sometimes there are things that are a little bit more challenging, or you don't get kind of the what's understood in your region. So just be mindful of that, especially if you're around, we talk about this in the finishing school, especially if you're around people in other cultures or you travel, try to use standard words when you are in mixed company. When you're at home and you're with your friends and you let your hair down, all that, that's fine. But try to make an effort to communicate in a way that it's easy. This is not about using your SAT words and really going, to impress. It's not about that, but just try to make it easy for any audience to understand. Would you say anything to that, Lucy?
I believe Lisa was commenting about the THINK acronym. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? I think. I'm not sure. Lisa can just confirm in the chat.
Okay, fantastic. I love that. We have a question from Cora. Cora says, how do we remind ourselves to slow down? Any examples? Absolutely, but this one takes practice. And one of the things I tell our students is awareness. That really is the beginning of everything. You can just move through life like, whatever, this is just me, take it or leave it. That's an option. But if you really do have a goal of being more elegant, you're going to be mindful of everything that you do. Now, slowing down in any examples, it can be in the way that you walk, in the way that you talk, in the way that you eat. If you're just at the beginning, I would probably pick one struggle. One of the things we do in the finishing school, we cover all of the areas and then you can rate them yourself. So I'll use myself as an example. I used to have masculine gestures and I didn't even know I was doing it, meaning I would just open the car door or slam a cabinet or just set a glass down really hard. I didn't even realize I was doing it until I got some feedback and started to learn like this, that those are things that are not elegant. So I said, okay, I am going to practice. I'm going to open a cabinet gently and take out a plate and set it down and try to be as quiet as possible. This is just me at home by myself, just practicing. And the more you practice it, then it becomes second nature. But you have to be aware of it and then start implementing a way to be more graceful. Would you say anything to that, Lucy?
I agree. Picking just one item, I would say for when speaking, breathe. Before you're going to answer, before you're going to say something, just take a deep breath. And maybe that should be your reminder. Okay, let me speak a little slower this time.
I love that. I hope that helps, Cora. Thank you for the question. Let's see, what else does Vivienne say? Vivienne says, we're on day 9. What Lucy just said. Speak slowly, as this will allow your words to flow naturally. I love this one. This is a huge one for me, you all. Those of us who move really fast, who think really fast, who talk really fast, who's just like, I have heard people say, you just need to listen faster. That's an option. Is that elegant? No. You want to be considerate of others. And one of the things my etiquette teacher told me, she said, Margaret, y'all know my name is Margaret. Maggie is my childhood nickname. Margaret, it may seem slow to you, but it's quite all right for the listener. And I was like, man, I feel like in my head, y'all, I'm just like, I just want to get it out. but it really shows discipline and self-control. And what I've learned in doing these streams and live streams, when I watch myself back after you get over the initial cringe, it's like, oh, it does make sense for the listener to process what I'm saying if I use fewer words and slow down. And I catch myself. One of the things I'll do, Cora, as an example for myself, I hold my hands together kind of underneath the table because I used to like talk with my hands a lot. That way I'll make a point with my hands, but I've kind of found like my resting position is kind of hands clasped together. And just that contact of me doing that to myself reminds me to kind of like tighten up, not tighten up in a bad way, but like get it together and have a little bit of control, especially when I'm speaking to others. So the slowing down goes a long way in your speech, especially if you're speaking to someone that English is not their first language. What would you say, Lucy?
I like what you said about your hands, but I want to say thank you, Big Ben, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Um, it's I feel really strange when we get those super stickers. I'm not used to it, and I love that we get them because it's just something that you do out of the goodness of your heart. So it's thank you so much. So the holding of the hands underneath, because and that reminds me a lot because as a Latina, we use our hands. We just gesture a lot for anything. So I think that, and if you're anxious as well, that help to have the hands clasped together to avoid just using overusing your hands when speaking.
I love that. And I'll just pull up the picture one more time. This is from a previous day, but I'll just share with you all. This has kind of become my go-to seating position or resting position. And not only does it show up more elegant when you are out and about, but it also, for me, helps me feel a little bit more controlled. So if you all remember when we were on, yes, whatever day this was, day 6, when we talked about posture. So this picture right here, you can see, and I remember Erin Laura said she wouldn't look she would look lovely however she sat. But what we were talking about on this one was her posture. Remember, we talked about not sitting back into the chair, kind of sitting on the end and turned to the side. But notice how she's holding her hands together here. That just kind of frames you a little bit. This is what I do often underneath, out of view. And I just kind of learned to do that. Plus, of course, you can work on, straightening your back and lifting up your chin. But when you kind of assume a more elegant position in other ways, it's funny how it just kind of makes you, how do I say, it makes you come across more elegant in other ways. For example, you all, if you see me on my cooking channel, I used to toss back. I'm drinking sparkling water. I opened it right before the stream. Shout out to the Walmart water. You know who you are. Y'all, I used to just pop open these cans and like toss them back like a dude. And then I learned from my etiquette teacher, ladies, we should always drink out of a glass. Get a glass from the dollar store, but just this simple exercise of now forcing myself, but I open up my sparkling water and I pour it into a glass because it's a glass and I handle it more gently, which means I lift it more slowly, which means I sit more quietly, and which means I set it down more gently, simply because I'm drinking out of a glass. And if I'm drinking out of an aluminum can, we just pop it and toss it back. So it's things that you can do. So my posture and my, getting myself together kind of like calms me down, which helps me breathe better, like Lucy said, which means I speak better. So it's a whole journey. And that's one of the things I love about this space, because elegance doesn't age. Lucy and I are both older women, but you can find ways to just refine. And it's those little things when you see, a first lady, or you see, a queen or whatever, not a queen in common sense, but like actual royalty. excuse me, and they just seem so like refined, and you think, man, what is it that's special about them? It's learned, ladies. It's a skill. I mean, we can all get better, so don't beat yourself up about it, but that's what we share here. What would you say, Lucy?
And it is little by little. We got to remember that those folks, in the Queen's environment and these like royal environments, they've been taught since they're in kindergarten. They have this whole protocol about how to behave that way. So, you can take it little by little, just one item at a time, just to not get so overwhelmed. Because it's, if you're trying to learn it all at once, it becomes a little overwhelming little by little and test it out and see how you feel about it. And then it's going to become your natural way of saying things, of closing the door, of moving around just in a more feminine way.
Oh my goodness, I love that. That is so true. Lisa says, it makes me uncomfortable in social situations when someone is speaking poorly of someone in the room. I make myself speak more slowly and softly to calm myself down, neutral and change of subject. Absolutely. I mean, it's so unfortunate that people feel like in order to make themselves better, they need to put other people down. That's the essence of being a bully, in my opinion, and it's bad etiquette and it's just wrong. But I would say this, ladies, and I shared this. I do private consults one-on-one outside of this, and I've shared with someone recently. You want to make sure that you watch how you show up in any public space. You may think, oh, I'm just talking to person A and B, but person C could be watching. And especially, ladies, we never know. Our reputation is so important, especially if you want the caliber of man that you're going to respect. Your reputation speaks volumes. And oftentimes men and others watch how you treat people when you think no one is watching. We all have experiences. Y'all were with me yesterday when I talked about my airport experience that happened weeks ago. I never said anything about it. I just used it as an example yesterday to make a point without, disparaging anyone specifically. But just be very careful about that, because you can, how do you say, you can disqualify yourself and you can get a bad reputation if you have a bad experience. Like we said yesterday, you never allow anyone else's poor behavior to make you have poor behavior. You can absolutely exit with grace, and it's a shame, but I always like to learn from other people what they do right and also what they do wrong. And then I'll tell myself, oof, I'm definitely not going to do that. What would you say to that, Lucy?
I agree. And then it makes you wonder if that person feels comfortable talking about that other person in this group, how is the other person not saying anything? Like, well, that person is not here to clarify what you're saying. So you would think that whoever that person is gossiping about to that other person, why is she not shutting it down? So that for me, it would make me aware, kind of like a red flag on both sides, on the speaker and the receiver.
So true. So true. All right, let's see what Vivienne says. We will come towards the end of day 9 and then see what you all have to say. And I wanted to do this at day 7, but I'm curious for the ladies that are in the chat. We're up to day 9 of day 30, and we do a little bit every day. I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I love it, but I want to know what you all think. Is this overwhelming or is it good information? So the last thing that Vivienne says in day 9 is make it a point to read one book a month, as this will increase your vocabulary dramatically. Ladies, this is true for a couple of reasons. Now, do I sit down and read a book cover to cover? No, it's been a long time since I've done that, but I do like to read. We talked about this on another day. It's also good to, whatever you can do for your own self-development, personal development, even professional development, audiobooks, podcasts, any type of YouTube videos that are, when you leave that experience, you're made better for it. And I said this before in another stream, we all like, the gossip and who's doing this to who and the tea and all of that. But I really had to change and almost, I guess I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I'm honest here. Instead of 80% entertainment and 20% personal development, as part of my elegance journey, my appetite for the foolishness has really diminished. So now it's 80% personal development. I do coaching classes, the etiquette stuff. I'm always listening to how I can be better, whether it's, a better YouTuber or a better coach or whatever. And then every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, I'm not perfect. I'm not a prude. Every once in a while, I'll go over to the other side and I'll just kind of listen and be like, ha ha ha, that's funny. And I enjoy it. But what I do know, almost like when you start eating clean and you've been eating a lot of junk, and it's like you want to like have that carnival food, like we call it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that funnel cake is going to be really good. And you have it, that first bite, it's great. And that second bite, it's great. And then after like 3 or 4, you're like, it's not really hitting the spot like you thought it was. That's what happens to me now when I listen to um, a lot of, entertainment, whether it's reality TV. I just can't stomach it. Um, if that is your only diet of news, if that is your only source of an example of how to carry yourself, you really have an opportunity to elevate, because it's just, I don't want to call it trash, but it just, keep it in its proper place, because it doesn't make you better. And then you start to think that's normal, that way of speaking, that way of behaving, that way of listening to vulgar music, that way of everything is just kind of who you are. And then you find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh man, I'm really out of touch. And then you're scrambling to get it together. So don't let that be you, ladies. What would you say, Lucy?
I totally agree. It's that kind of a spiritual diet, that not only what you eat, but it's also what you observe. I remember my husband, every time I would watch those whatever, Miami, Orange County, whatever, he would walk by and he would say, "Babe, that doesn't build anything. That's just." He goes, "That is not." And I said, "But baby, it's behavior, bad behavior at its best." And I kind of, I love watching what other people do, what I would say, "Oh, wow, that is something that I don't see myself ever doing." But it kind of, it's just not healthy. I mean, it's entertainment, and it's not really reality TV, because we found out that sometimes it is scripted, but it's just, you start getting used to the chaos that you see. um, it's just, I don't know, it makes you feel weird. So I stopped watching that stuff a long time ago, and you know what, and life is better without all that chaos, that fake chaos in my life.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You guys are loving the sessions. Thank you so much. Hello, Technological Chaos. Aaron Laura says, I'm loving this. I like the bite-sized lessons. It makes it far less overwhelming. Yes, ladies, it's a lot. Lisa says, these sessions have been wonderful. Many thanks to both of you for your time and information. Yeah, we love this and we love sharing it with you all, because I'm all about giving the information. Then you decide what you want to do with it or not, but at least you know that it's out there. But yes, ladies, I mean, look, y'all know I like to cut up and have a good time. I have a silly side, but there's a time box for that. Our only caution is that you don't make that your everyday. So you show up at every situation like, all right, well, it's time to turn up. And then you're at a holiday party or, meeting the in-laws or an investor or whatever. And people are looking at you like, were you raised by wolves? That's what I say to the boys. But and as long as you know what it is, you enjoy your little, we all have a guilty pleasure, right? You enjoy your little guilty pleasure, whether it's reality TV or trap music or Who knows what, but just make sure that it's not that's not how you want to be all of the time. What does Tara say? Sweet Tara says, I agree. After the finishing school, there are some shows I can't watch. It's just too much and comes off. I'm sorry for saying it like this, but it's tacky. Well, yes, I agree. And that's why I'm so passionate about creating this community, because I've always kind of felt like the odd one out. And, I'm not cool. I ain't never been cool, not gonna be cool. But this is the area that I kind of nerd out. So if you are a lady and you're interested in this type of content, you're welcome here. But it's like anything, when you start getting really disciplined with your money, you watch how you spend, right? When you start getting really clean about the clutter in your house, if you do a deep clean, you're like, you know what? I'm not just buying everything off the clearance rack because it's on sale. When you start eating better, you'll have your guilt, you'll have your what are they called? Indulgences from time to time. But I can't eat that way like I used to all the time. It just literally makes me kind of sick, right? So we all have something. This is just an area of personal development, and I'm glad that you all find it useful. Tara is an alumna of our finishing school. So yes, ladies, this is what Vivienne had for day 9. I don't know if there's any other questions, but this is giving you all a taste of what we do. We are here every night, usually about 9 p.m. Eastern, to go through this with you all. But there's so much more that we have outside of YouTube if you would be interested. Anything else, Lucy?
Yes, I want to just put, what is it? I want to recommend a book that I am currently reading, and I've mentioned it before, and it is Reclaiming Your Reclaiming the Black Feminine: The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery by Kendra Davis, the Crimson Cure. And the reason I have it is because I'm Latina, and there is some Afro Latino background in my family. It's mainly, for me, I'm looking at how feminism has not helped the Western world. And she's got some really good information that if you can purchase the book and read it, it is great food for thought. She talks about the 4 Ps. She talks about so many important things that I would say that for any lady that's looking into improving your feminine essence, that would be a book to read. And there's also another book that I'm listening to. It's called The Psychology of Money. Really good book. So those are 2 books right now that I'm kind of like going back and forth with the reading that would help. That is just, I don't know. I like to recommend and suggest good books.
I love that. If you have the links, Lucy, please drop them in the chat. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Aaron Laura says,
Thank
yes.
you, and Laura.
Oh, yeah. Lately, the only way I consume bad behavior entertainment is through the lens of being corrected, like Kevin Samuels' videos. Yes, Lucy and I both have a connection to the late, great Kevin Samuels. And ladies, once you start doing this work, it is amazing how your eyes are open to everything around you. Other people haven't changed. The world around you didn't change, but your awareness of it, you're like, my goodness, women are out here just acting like, I'm going to use Luke Casely's words, feral cats. The first time she said it, I said, oh my goodness. But ladies, it's true and it's so unbecoming. So if you want different results, you are going to have to carry yourself differently and be okay with being kind of odd man out sometimes. But if this is where you feel like the best version of yourself, you're always welcome here. The One Above All says those shows give off horrible examples and negative stereotypes of our women. It's as if they reward destructive behavior. That
Uh-huh.
is so
Yep.
true. It's
Yep.
unfortunate, ladies, whether it's intentional or unintentional. I'm sure a lot of you have opinions, but it does promote the bad behavior and escalating more and more who can out ratchet the other
Mhm.
person, who can out loud talk, out sexual dance, out like all of these things that it's not who we are. And I know we are women living in modern times. And so, yes, in some ways that does make us modern women, but you can be intentional about maintaining your femininity and like Luke Hazley says, your feminine essence. I had a consult today, and I'll share with you all another little story time before we wrap up. Um, I'm in the market for a new job. And so a recruiter or somebody found me online. And, recruiters call me all the time. I work in technology. And I've shared with you all, I used to be an executive for the Coca-Cola company before the pandemic. And so I've shared, I used to get caught up in that big, like, women can be just like men and, all of that stuff. And it has its downside, believe me. So if you look at my resume, I have a lot of accomplishments on paper, MBA, IT certifications, all of that. But what I'm looking for is the type of role that's what we call an individual contributor. I just want to do my job because I'm not trying to manage people and go through all that again. So this lady found me and she was talking to me about like some training and stuff. And she was like, oh, you should go for this kind of role. And I just want our women to win. You should be next in line to the COO. And she's just saying all this stuff and, how much it pays and all that. And it was all about what she wanted from me. And I let her finish. And then I asked her, but is that what I want?
Mhm.
And she was silent. It never crossed her mind to actually think, oh,
Mhm.
people may want something different. So whether it's ratchet reality TV or the professional world, or if you have a high stress job or anything like that, just be mindful that it is going to bring the masculine out of you. It's going to bring the competitive out of you. The world that we live in is going to reward you for being less feminine. I went somewhere recently and they asked me about my channel and I said, yes, I do food and femininity. And literally the response is femininity, almost like, who wants that? Why would anybody be soft? Why would anybody want to be soft? Like it's a weakness. Ladies, I'm telling you, especially with the masculine man that you want, our femininity is a superpower. So just believe that. Take it from Maggie, a late bloomer. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. Men want that softness, that delicate behavior, that they think about, will I have this woman be the mother to my children? Is she nurturing? Is she soft? How, men don't want another man. So this thing about training us to be more masculine, to be the strong, independent, the managerial in a job, for me is I have never felt comfortable in a place where I have to tell grown men how to do their jobs. It's never been in me, and it's very uncomfortable. But there are women that want to do that, which is, to me, it's very odd to me. But again, that is something that we've been trained to be in the Western world, and it's okay to be a manager, but if you can use your feminine um, softness to get things done, that would be great. So far, I haven't seen it used much, but that would be great.
Oh my goodness, what does technological chaos say? Even nowadays, a lot of police officers respond very aggressively to less soft responses, especially to women who try to put on that hard exterior. Yes, ladies. Excuse me. And we're not fooling anyone. Remember what Sarah said when she was here. Men pick up on that. I can scream as loud as I can. I can never match the volume or intensity of a man. I am not a man. So it's better for me to win at what I'm good at and let a man do what he's good at. And then we complement each other. Um, oh, I'm hesitant. I heard something. I'll just say it. I was watching a Pink Book Lessons video earlier today, and she said something that I just thought was brilliant. And I want to just, say without any judgment, even the term partner, like in our traditional relationships, we are not partners. We are husband and wife. We are man and woman. They're very different. And I always tell you all, we're equally valued, but we are not equal. Okay. We are not the same. Believe me. And if you don't believe me, young women, what do they say? Keep on living. Um, but she said same sex couples are partners. And that's where, it made sense to me, like a light bulb went off, because when you talk to women who are kind of like, I can do anything a man can do, they're operating in a way where it's just like there's no difference, and they're not allowing themselves to be different. It's interchangeable. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And I've always told you all, I am aware that there are many types of relationships. I'm just saying what I like. But I can see why in that type of relationship, it would be this kind of 50-50 interchangeable dynamic, because I'm just like you. I'm built just like you. You can do it or I can do it. But if you're looking at traditional relationships where you have a man who's on his purpose and then you have a woman who is a support system to him, they're both strong in very different ways. And we shouldn't try to compete as men. So, ladies, if you think to be successful at work or to be, successful anyway means you have to be more manly, take it from me. And Lucy and I have both told you, you can absolutely win at work and still keep your feminine superpower. Lucy has another book recommendation. Oh, she found it. Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, Lucy, are we good to wrap it up or anything else?
I think we're good. I love these short sessions because even though they're short, there's so much information in there. Yes, and of course, you, Maggie, and your wisdom. It's amazing. I love it because as I join you in these discussions, I learn so much from you.
Thank you. If you would please translate from
Oh,
Edmund.
thank you, Edmund. Keep up the great work, ladies. Kevin estaría muy orgulloso de las dos. Kevin Samuels would be so proud of you both. Hmm.
Okay, I don't know if I could say this, but I can say this. Well, first of all, thank you, Edmund. You all know Jeff Liscombe, the late, great Kevin Samuels' best friend. And I've shared with you all in 2021, I booked a session with Kevin because I wanted to build a community where the older women would teach the young, because that's what Kevin said. Lucy and I don't have daughters. And so we feel very, protective and strongly towards, especially young ladies who just, for whatever reason, didn't get this teaching. And when I talked to Jeff earlier this week, he told me that this is a perfect example of where we women are able to help. He said him and Kevin talked about doing something for the women, but like his execution, like the way he didn't have, like, this song. Y'all know Kevin. I mean, and he was great, but I'm laughing at thinking if Kevin Samuels were teaching this 30-day guide to elegance, there would be barking sounds, there would be trumpet sounds, there would be like, he would just, but he's a man. And so I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to speak to each other, ladies, and the men are welcome here. But, in our private coaching, it's just for us to get it together amongst ourselves. And I'm so glad that Kevin would be proud of us. Oh, don't make me cry. Tara says, yes, you love the power sessions. Lisa says, yes, a lot of wisdom, and you appreciate being a sponge. Okay, ladies, well, we will wrap it up for day 9. These sessions are also available on Spotify. We have 2 podcasts on Spotify, ladies. So the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, where we were doing our every week Ask Us Anything. We put those on hold for November because we're here every day with you all. After this, we're going to go back to once a week. So if you are on Spotify, you can listen for free on the go. You can look us up at the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, or I think it's Become Elegant in 30 Days or your Elegance Boot Camp. So all of these sessions, I'm uploading them to Spotify. So please share. Please let any ladies know who, just don't feel like the world that's out there represents them. They are welcome here. You can follow me and Lucy on all socials. Yes, nothing but positivity. Okay, so today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. It's all running together. Same time tomorrow, Lucy. We're good for 9:00. Okay,
Nine
so it'll
o'clock is
be
good.
9:00 Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific, and we will move on to day 10. Invite a friend, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Oh my